And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, the final part of our session we had to redo due to snafus. Welcome to Lab Discovera.
Huh?
Oh. Hello.
I believe this is a first for Kirby. Literal voice acting.
Is that filthy English voices in my precious Japanese video game?
And we'll give them props. They actually did dub this. They actually did dub this. These lines in a number of languages.
Depending on the system settings of your Switch, it'll switch to the detected language as they profess.
Hi!
Yay.
So Kirby and Bandana Waddle Dee are certainly enjoying this little impromptu tour, while the other three Waddle Dees are, like, scared shitless that they lost their king.
Yeah.
They still don't know where the rest of their friends are.
Also, no big deal. Just apparently we're about to meet the pinnacle of all Apex, life on this Earth. Oh, and that it actually was a hostile invading alien force, actually.
Don't worry, they're not talking about us.
Yet.
But, I mean, the fact that we were able to capture it and harness its energies to make this...
Oh, the Waddle Dees!
That's what they were caging them all up for.
Yep, they were literal hamster wheel batteries.
Slave labor.
Poor Waddle Dees. Look at them. They can't run that fast. They got, They have, 2 feet and 0 thighs.
And no legs.
How do they move their feet with no legs?
How does Kirby move his feet with no legs?
I mean, they just waddle. That's basically it. So they're waddling at the speed of sound. But anyway, that subspecimen they mentioned, they could never find it.
I wonder why.
And now it's laid. Now whatever this IF-86 whatever thingy has now been remaining dormant.
Now here's my question. If this incident occurred 30 years ago, who recorded all this? And
Oh,
when?
hang on.
And here we are. Let's meet the ultimate life form, specimen ID F86.
They already left the planet at this point, so did someone stay behind and just recorded a complete, amusement park spiel?
It could have been a Wall-E thing where literally they were recording it on their way out the door. Also,
For who?
props to them for saying the tone to be all intense and stuff.
For who, though?
For us, Icky.
And I mean, when you stop and think about it, they definitely got out of Dodge the soonest they could, which better for them, because now we're dealing with probably the most eldritch being we've seen in Kirby. And given what Kirby's dealt with before, that's saying a lot. Oh, and also a furry bait.
Yes.
Hello.
Kirby and the Forgotten Funky Fetus.
You've not even seen the Great One in full form. They're incomplete without their other half. Long ago, the Great One granted the people of this world a miraculous power. Those people left this world behind and entered a land of dreams.
Ba-da-da-da.
I wonder if we met one of those people once in our lives.
Or this land that they're talking about.
Couldn't be. Once the Great One is complete again, I know we will also receive this miraculous power. We, the ones they left behind in this forgotten land.
And just
Well,
slap a
yeah,
trademark
that's-
right next to it.
Copyright
And-
registered trademark.
The time has finally come.
The baby!
The person we all thought was going to betray us.
Yep, he's good in all this. Well, at least that particular side of him. That's right. This small creature here is the Great One's missing half.
Da-da-da.
I mean, I see you took all the good looks out of the family.
I see the resemblance.
Finally, after all our planning and effort, we can help the Great One reach their complete form.
Uh-oh.
We've dreamed of this moment for so many years. If you dare to stand in our way, we'll feast on your hide!
You know, I'm not
So,
gonna lie, as far as Kirby dialogue goes, that's pretty straight to the point and brutal compared to what we've had up to this point.
I guess you could say it's very primal.
Usually like to beat around the bush. Yeah, you're right.
Befitting of a Lion King.
Yeah. Also, the other thing I can think of, Icky, the answer to your question is perhaps they're also looking at it as perhaps that recording was also made as a time capsule of sorts. In case anyone finds our remains.
Possibly.
Anywho.
So, not for nothing, I actually don't mind this fight with Leongar here.
I like it.
I mean, as far as final boss, fake final bosses are concerned, I mean, it gets the job done perfectly fine. In some ways, it feels like a much more fully realized version of the Goromondo fight from earlier.
Did you say a fake final boss? What do you mean by that?
As if you don't know where this is
You
going to be
mean
going.
a prelude?
As if you don't know where this is going to be going in Kirby lore and logic. Whoa! But we'll definitely say once again, between this and the quote-unquote true final boss, again, how outdone themselves with how to make this leap in boss design, both attack patterns and visual designs for 3D. I guess it's like, I'm not gonna say like they're like rewriting the book on 3D boss design, but Leongar?
Getting angry.
Oh boy.
It's like no, they're not exactly rewriting the book on 3D design, but like look at that, like knowing like what we've done with Kirby and 2D in the past.
Yeah, again, I feel like if nothing else, a proper arena-based side game with this type of format would be perfect for Kirby.
You mean like a Kirby platformer that was nothing but arena fights?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not against that. Forgotten Land is probably one of the most it's probably my favorite Kirby combat engine, especially with the dodge roll, quote unquote parry flurry rush mechanic.
Yeah, no, I'll just it might sound a little hyperbole, but I think it holds true. I easily think Forgotten Land has the best boss fights in the series.
I think so.
They're certainly very dynamic.
They definitely feel the most fair to me.
They're very dynamic, and it really goes to show just how flexible Kirby can really be as a fighter.
I would say it can also, in addition to that, because I do still really enjoy the bosses in Superstar Ultra and stuff, but I think on that regard, I would also argue that I think this game has the most fair boss fights, because you have much better movement to dodge and evade their attacks, and the fact that you can, it does reward highly skilled play with this whole dodge roll mechanic.
Also, we'll say as an aside, that whole move that Leongar was doing earlier, where he's just forward charging at you while chomping away, is probably one of the sickest looking attacks I've seen a boss do in Kirby.
Gets right in your face, but he was no match for the two of us together.
I mean, how would you feel if a giant lion man was trying to chomp after you?
I mean, it's perfect nightmare fuel for kids.
Oh, speaking of pure nightmare fuel, how about the fact that there's a giant fucking fetus in the jar there?
Oh, that doesn't matter because we saved Elfilis!
We won.
Kirby.
The whole gang's back together. But of course...
You dare.
Leon, you got something in your throat?
Plan ruined. Important plan. Needed labor. Open vortex. Found workforce. Brought here. And yet, error made. Irksome pink contaminant.
Props to you for editing later.
Yeah. I mean, that's just kind of the beauty of it.
Careful planning, now wasted. No more planning, no more patience. Instead... everything shall be consumed!
Nice. And with that, things start getting...
Freaky!
Yeah, they're...
Freaky, yes.
You like Resident Evil?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
this entire set piece right here is more
Oh boy.
It's definitely the freakiest shit you'll ever see in Kirby.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be. It's played off as so cute, but this is pretty
He's eating
horrible.
all the animals.
I'd be more terrified of this whole situation if it didn't look like a giant glob of cold stone ice cream.
Did we forget to mention that IDF-86's other name in the test subject stages was William Birkin?
That explains it.
Birkelin.
Yeah.
Well, we got. Well, I mean,
We oughta get the heck out of there.
I'm also a bit bummed because now bummed in the sense of now I think about it, the fact that the Beast Pack by themselves was able to break through meant that they managed to get past King Dedede, and now they're here for us.
Oh no!
I mean, look at it this way. At the very least, Fecto Forgo here has nothing of DDD's DNA in that body of his.
It's an amorphous mass.
Man, imagine if it did. Honestly, like, imagine if it did, like, also include, like, some of the bosses. Like, imagine Gorilla Mondo's head in that bulbous mass.
Oh, and
That'd
the
be terrifying.
Claw lines, it's somehow in there.
Jeez, like, you know what? Man, now I should think.
Or if
now
it
should-
just,
and
like,
that-
transforms bits of its mass into, like, various attacks from the previous bosses. That'd be scary.
I mean, thinking about it now, for some reason I'm suddenly thinking back to Landia from Kirby's Return to Dreamland, where that was essentially just, like, 4 dragons that meshed into one through the power of that crown.
Right.
And now I'm just thinking, like, if this thing was fully realized, it would very much be the same thing, where it'd literally be 4 giant red heads, like, poor Leongar's head here,
And then
meshed together with all the... It'd be really freaky shit.
And then the big Leongar head fades away to reveal the true evil behind it all, Wispy in his soul patch.
What is the soul patch again? I forgot.
Or his goatee.
Oh.
I guess a soul patch is basically if the goatee's like more on the chest, I guess.
I mean, considering Wispy's anatomy, or Tropic Woods' anatomy, it may as well be on his chest.
True, I forgot his name's not Wispy, it's Tropic now.
But yeah, no, all things considered, this whole boss fight is literally just you know, running as far away as you can while taking pot shots as whenever you possibly can.
Right.
Do be worried, though, that this hallway is not infinite.
Right, there is an end, however, it's fortunately not an instant game over. Basically, it'll just, you know, you could almost
It'll
argue
just
the tension...
constantly do the charge attack at you.
Right, and you could argue the tension kind of gets lost, because it's like...
Also, you maybe wonder where Kirby was at that exact moment.
Right
We're
there.
still trying to figure out. But for now, the Fecto goo is no more. We did it! Whoa!
Kind of a
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
wicked end to those poor creatures.
Speaking of poor creatures,
Oh no!
In all the chaos, it captures Elfilin, and now can assume its true form again.
perfect chaos?
Oh boy.
Yes.
Good lord, just... You know what? I wouldn't put it past this game to try something like that.
And
I
as
really
al-
wouldn't.
And as always, whenever
But,
you see
yeah.
Kirby frown, oh, you going down.
Yeah.
You're more than just dead. You are completely obliterated from the history books.
But yeah,
ahead.
just real quick, because I know this is going to take a bit. Just going back to the soul patch, I remember the only other time I remember hearing the phrase soul patch was when Ant was doing his own review of, I don't know if it was either his review of Forgotten Land or just, like, his big, like, Kirby countdown thing. He mentions, why is, like, Tropic Woods part of the crew? It's probably because of the soul patch. And it's like, when I heard that, it's like, oh, is that, like, just some kind of, like, Kirby lore that I forgot about until now? It's like, oh, no, it's just a type of facial hair.
Yeah. So, welcome to the final portion of this, of the endgame, where Kirby literally steps right into a platinum boss fight.
I mean, legit.
Like, this is a set piece that would be more in place with, like, I don't know, Nier Automata, or, heck, maybe one of the Bayonetta games.
I mean, this whole industrial city.
So you guys thought I was joking when I made the Sonic comparison. Here we have this big fella.
Ah, yes, Fecto Elfilis.
Ultimate lifeform data successfully copied.
Actually, I think we already mentioned this with. By the way, this is one of the most dynamic bosses in Kirby, and I love it. I was gonna say,
Absolutely.
I know we mentioned in the previous attempt of this, but I agree with James. I actually kind of get a little bit more of the freaking the King of Sorrow.
Yeah, the King of Sorrow from Klonoa, too. Like, it almost...
It's the ears.
Yeah.
It's the ears and the green texture on his fur.
Well, the comparison I had in mind was, like, a slight parallel to what Icky said with Sonic. I got more Knights vibes from him.
I can see from, like, the general body shape and, like, the fur collar.
It wouldn't be out of place. I'll say this.
I mean, there's a lot that you can compare this thing to, but otherwise, it's like, in some ways, Hal kind of pulled a sneaky move in that they what's the word?
Whoa.
They made our suspicions true, yet not at the same time. That, you know, Elfilin would be the big bad guy, but not in the way we assumed he would.
Not intentionally.
So basically the same thing they did with Curso.
Yeah, effectively.
I guess so, yeah. And also, I'm gonna have to be right back. But just again, this music stuff is great, fantastic work all around, of course. But yeah, that being said, I'll be right back.
I think it's important to note that, I'd say this is probably the most hyper-intelligent final boss in a Kirby game. compared to, like, Void Termina or Queen Sectonia or even Soul Dream, what was it? Star Dream? Soul Dream?
I think it was Star Dream.
Yeah, because this boss, this guy wants to enact, like, complete, like, total annihilation of the species for its own personal gain.
Yeah, pretty much.
Whatever that personal gain is.
And, like, he's proficient enough to wield a friggin', what is that, a javelin? A spear? A halberd? It looks cool.
I mean, regardless of such, now...
Also, look at that!
Yep, now he unleashes his real power of sending shit straight from the stars, straight to us.
Asteroid Sender. Oh boy.
Unfortunately, this is a case where Kirby cannot return to sender.
Unfortunately. This is not, Triple Deluxe.
Nah. Yeah, Kirby unfortunately does not have any Hypernova fruit on hand.
Yeah.
What? I feel like that we're gonna get to a point where they're gonna make a game where Kirby is capable of inhaling something that big without the Hypernova fruit.
It's hard to say, really, but, okay, here's this particular attack, which unfortunately Logan and I kind of futzed up the first time around, where you have to hit the one that's real before that circular halo, envelops him, in which case it fully heals, well, it heals him a bit.
And it wasn't until we initially recorded that I realized the real Elfilis is the one with the shadow.
Yeah, I never really... That never really occurred to me whenever I did the boss fight. I just more so paid attention to where the halo was shrinking down.
Centering in onto, yeah. I mean, that's another clue, but... yeah.
Run, fat boy!
Only real downside towards the Fecto Elfilis fight is that, I mean... Well, it's cool to see him, fly straight out into the background, sending all his projectiles right at you. It does mean you're not going to be able to hit him for a good while. It's mostly, just trying to dodge shit.
Oh, I fucked.
Hold on, I need a quick drink break.
A lot of moments where you have to dodge shit before you actually get the chance to attack him head on.
The boss is
Yeah.
like, man, don't you just hate when a player heals himself?
I mean, shoes on the other foot. Ain't it, Fecto?
Dude.
You do that shit to me, I do that same shit to you.
By the way, I believe the music track playing here is called Two Objects Approaching the Roche Limit.
Roche limit?
Roche Limit. Or is it Roche? Roach? I don't know.
A roach.
It sounds fancy. It sounds like a fancy word for cockroach.
Whatever it is, it sounds foreign.
Yeah.
And I don't like that.
It sounds like a scientist.
I mean, I don't mind it. It's just one of those things where, like, I mean, you'd have to do the research yourself.
Yeah, because we're too lazy to do it.
I mean, it's almost like we're in the middle of fighting this dude here.
Well,
I will say, I do
is
like
post,
the
remember?
veiny look inside, the veiny texture on his ears. It's really, really creepy.
Yeah, I mean, again, it fits perfectly with the whole, how the Kirby series has been, handling its final bosses, and most of them being just eldritch horrors. I mean, right down to, like, I think we brought this up before, but the current director of Kirby is an absolute eldritch horror fanatic.
He draws some crazy fucking shit, and I love it.
Absolutely not safe for work.
Have you seen his render of Drostia?
Yeah, I have, and it's beautifully unsettling.
It's beautifully horrific.
It's beautifully beautiful. Oh boy.
Yeah, what he said.
And with that, we're about to free our Elfilin.
Free him from the jaws of death.
You do what you do best, Kirby. Suck it up!
Wait, where'd Waldy go?
But watch out, Elflis is up to something.
He's going to send a spear straight towards Kirby's squishy face and try to impale him.
In retrospect, I probably shouldn't have tried as hard as I did.
Oh, you try hard.
Hey, it was still a close call on my end.
Yeah, I'd say so. But yay, the good boyo is saved, and the bad boyo is melting away like the wicked wizard he is.
No way! I can't believe this!
Of course, in times of desperation, that also calls for desperate actions. And this is about to literally wreck two homes apart.
Oh boy.
Doomsday for two realms.
Such incredible power. Whatever it's trying to do, it's going to be pretty bad.
Bad indeed.
What is it, Kirby?
That's our home!
Is that... Is that your home? That's planet Popstar?
And it's headed right for us!
Pulling Popstar through that huge vortex. It wants your world to collide with this one.
So, crap.
Line? Oh.
We have to stop it. But how?
Again, it's times like these, it's kind of a joyous thing we do these things live so we can properly time all this dialect.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is what it is. So we're just dealing with it all the best we can. I don't even know what we were saying around this point in time.
What do we do?
Like, I feel like it was instances where we were just in the middle of, like, a tangent in between lines.
That's fair. But don't worry, we have the perfect solution to this predicament.
Optimus Prime?
One last mouthful.
Complete with hot rod flames?
I mean, yeah. If it's no Kirby finale unless it's wicked as shit. And this is definitely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Let's
You know
roll!
I really wish it was like full character development. Kirby could have just swallowed that entire thing whole.
That would have been funny. Also, notice some of the little mooks that are actually later strewn on these wrecked buildings, and how they have all those evil eyes.
They look spooky.
Not to mention the bits of Popstar that were crashing through.
Correction, the bits of Star Allies Popstar that are crashing through.
Oh boy.
Because those are the same donut hills that were used in Star Allies.
I mean, hey, the more things change, sometimes the more they just stay the same.
Despite Popstar being like a world that constantly changes like every Tuesday.
I mean, they call it a dream lane for a reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, all things considered, this whole set piece is fun.
I mean, with this slammin' remix of the invincibility theme, I don't see why it wouldn't.
I don't know if it's possible to fall off the buildings, though.
It is. But you only take like a cent of damage.
Okay. And unfortunately, there's one thing that this game had to pull from Bayonetta that I kind of wish it didn't.
Oh, please. We already ran through chunks of stuff beforehand. What makes you think we're going to be stopped here when we have QuickTime events on our side?
Yeah, I mean, the ones that you have to rapidly button mash aren't too bad. It's the ones that seem quick and instantaneous. But thankfully, this game's not that, horseshit about it.
It's like the one time in the game where you have a QuickTime event, and it only happens twice.
It is kind of weird. It's like they just do it all of a sudden here. But I mean, there's also this whole sequence, which it's essentially just this game's answer to Star Allies' finale.
Maybe yell at the enemy strong enough, and you'll be able to break on through.
I was about to say, like, the Star Allies is true. Didn't Planet Robobot do something similar in that regard, to where it also had like a QuickTime event thing at the end?
I think it's standard for most modern Kirby games to have a QuickTime event, like, to finish off the final boss. In this case, where you have to button mash everything.
Yep, and now we must yell even further beyond to break through those defenses!
And run over him.
Colors weave into a spire of flame. This is the pastel remains.
We basically just ran over him with a truck.
Yeah.
Spoiler warnings, the fucker survives.
Spoiler warnings, as far as we know, that guy is dead. That guy has become roadkill.
Not even on the road. But that being said, we saved the day, but the wormhole's still there.
Oh no.
Still gonna wreck us.
Also, yes, this is indeed Planet Popstar, Elfilin. Kind of a fixer-upper.
Everything's being pulled in.
Oh, right, yeah. It's the giant vortex. Wait, where are you going?
I need to close the connection between worlds. Even if it takes all the power I've got.
No, the good boy. We went to so much trouble to save you.
Hey, Kirby. Thanks for everything.
And that's that.
My favorite blue rat.
He was indeed a really good blue rat.
We gather here today to celebrate the life of a stinky blue rat.
It's Rick Ashley.
Though that being said, Hal had cold feet. They were gonna let him die just like that.
No, but he could have been gone forever.
That is true, but rest assured, that's pretty much the end of the game, because, through this credit sequence, we learned the little dude survived.
Yee.
I mean, kind of a good thing, too, considering, in closing the warp hole, if it was just ended at that, D&D, Meta Knight, and the other Wildies would have been stuck on the other world.
So,
I just imagine, like, throughout the entire process, D&D's just waiting with the other Wildies. It's like,
Don't worry, Kirby's gonna come back for us. Any minute now.
well, I guess it's their problem now.
Would they really have been all that bummed out to have been left behind on the other planet? I mean, they practically made a new civilization from scratch.
You know what? This place has cake too. I don't mind waiting.
And it's got a cafe with free Kirby burgers.
They're actually 20 coins apiece.
I said free Kirby burgers.
I mean,
It's- like, he just takes it, he's about to eat, it's like, even got his nipples right. Man, I miss that little paper ball.
Yeah, I guess that would be the one thing that would really hurt DDD inside.
He'd be
knowing
like,
that-
they're just continuing off, it's like, I miss him so much. He's crying as he's still eating the burger.
he was the only one that understood how I feel.
and he tasted so good too.
Especially
Alright.
with ketchup.
But yeah, all things considered, I mean, I don't. What am I trying to say here? That whole
shit.
ending aside, yeah, we'll come back.
I'm at the
Logan.
credits.
You
Yeah,
missed the fun.
Well, no, technically yes and no. But,
Well, technically, no.
he was there to help us with the end credits.
I saw, yeah, no, don't worry. Again, I mean, just all that fantastic work. Anything else to note is I always find it epic when Kirby's actress, like, does, like, a very powerful, like, freaking Dragon Ball scream.
When she does
It's
the
great.
funny scream.
Even though I'm pretty sure for the sake of this game, that was Elflin's actress that was doing it.
Oh,
Unless they're voiced by the same girl.
We will have to look into that and see.
we will.
But I mean, yeah, since we're already at the credits, we'll go ahead and say, like, if it's not immediately, if we haven't made our opinions more vocal by this point, Forgotten Land is an absolute fantastic time, and feels like the proper Switch entry that Kirby deserved.
Yeah.
Right, but this should have been the big one.
But I get the feeling that the next 3D Kirby game proper is going to be even better.
Oh, I'm sure. Because, I mean, all things considered, like, this game, while it did do a lot by bringing Kirby to 3D, it's still Kirby at its absolute base merits, so, like, it's one of those things where... what am I trying to say here? It's like, it's one of those things where they didn't try too hard to, change the wheel, but it's also a wheel that was already damn near perfect as it was.
It's well polished and maintained.
Exactly.
Plus, not to mention, like, bringing Kirby to 3D is kind of a big deal as it is. I feel like if you change things too much in that jump to 3D, it'd probably be too jarring for a lot of people.
Hey. Well, I mean, that also being said, like, I also just think it was honestly fantastic, all the work that they put in to make this work in 3D. Like, when you look into all the behind-the-scenes stuff, such as, again, the camera trick that they do, where in 3D, they have it set up where if the camera makes it look like something should have hit, it will hit, even if it was nowhere near the enemy.
Right.
Little things like that. Just a lot of good care went into this. This did not feel like a hashed-out, rushed 3D port.
Right. Especially considering that, unlike Star Allies... Well, okay, granted, that's a big fat lie, because that game had its own post-content, but this game has its post-content, too.
In spades.
And thus, oh boy, James's and mine work has only just begun.
Yeah, because even though we saved the day, Leongar's still out there.
But that won't stop James by himself from exploring. that won't stop him from being able to visit the town and see all that we've accomplished in our grand journey, done by
Yeah.
James himself.
Ooh, a bandana band.
My bad. But yeah, all things considered, now that we've beaten the game, the sound test has more or less been... The game's sound test is pretty much going live, and there's a new attraction down at the Coliseum.
We're not going to do that right now, because we got plenty of other crap we got to do first.
Can we now go challenge the Pokemon Coliseum?
No.
Yeah, no, the Coliseum will pretty much be one of if not the last thing we'll be doing for Forgotten Lands. And, oh boy. It's definitely going to be possible. We're just going to make sure to stock up on our, buff up potions.
Yep.
Not to mention, I think we actually missed, an ability scroll.
Oh, Clawline. If not that, there is one more ability scroll that would be very helpful if we can find that. But for now, Clawline seems to want our help.
Oh,
Hey, look! Claw Ryan is visiting our town. She looks a bit upset. Ah, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Zoom in onto Kirby's head.
When things finally calmed down and the animals came to celebrate with us, Leongar was missing. I bet Claudorine has been looking for him. She might have found something. We should ask her what's going on.
I would absolutely love to. But not now. That's something we'll be saving for, once we actually get our hands back on the controller. But in the meantime, let's look around and examine everything else, like King Dedede just loafing the day away.
Hey,
Hiya, Kirby. Been a while, hasn't it? I didn't get to say it before, so thanks for saving King Dedede. Speaking of, he seems to really like this town. He's been resting to help himself heal.
Actually,
We have something to give you. It's a blueprint from King Dedede himself.
I just love the
What
idea
an
that,
honor. A gift
What an
from the
honor.
king.
I just love the idea
I already
that
said that.
I love the idea that all he's saying is just one run-on sentence after the other. Like, oh, what an honor! And might I just add, you're looking very good today.
The way our
Kirby.
daring
I
king
like it.
threw me into that elevator after I tripped and made sure to protect me.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our next exciting adventure, Kirby and the Magic Voyage.
I was just in awe. He's usually so carefree, perhaps a teeny tiny bit lazy, but when it matters most, our leader always does his royal duty. Long live King Dedede.
I'm sorry, but the more I hear this voice, the more he sounds like Coach Z.
I was hoping you would. I was hoping you'd say Ned Flanders, but now I can't unhear it. Oh, His Majesty seems to be enjoying life in this town. Guess we'll be stuck in around for a bit.
You, my friend, have done a great job there, Cabo.
His Majesty is acting cool and aloof. He's actually pretty upset that you were saving us while he was being controlled like a puppet. You should probably give him some space for a while. Sorry.
Please don't hit me, poor favor.
Hey, that's my line.
I'm just looking out for all your hygienes. Have you ever talked to one of these kids up close? Their breaths is terrible.
TGIG, y'all. Thank God I'm Eugene.
Also, for those wondering, either Iki or Logan corralled me into doing that.
Oh, yeah. Kicking them and see if they reacted or something.
As we thought, that wow, they're so firm. They're so
They're statues. They're not even alive.
dedicated to their job.
Except for that guy.
We surrendered our ability to feel pain to King Dedede when we enlisted.
No, it's
I guess I forgot the brat.
That's all right. Yeah.
That Waldy's made of tough stuff, don't mind him.
Oh, hey, and Meta Knight's up here as well.
It's like their memory foam
What's
pillows.
he up to?
Have you wondered why the Beast Pack stopped attacking and left this town alone? You certainly helped when you arrived, Kirby, but the Wildies told me that Meta Knight has been fighting to protect the town all on his own.
See, he wasn't completely ignored in the plot.
He keeps watch day and night. He's even doing it right now from that perch up there.
See, he's not being a freeloader.
Gosh, Meta Knight's so strong. It's so cool.
And then you find out that the reason Man Knight's up there is that, like,
I would get down, but I'm afraid of heights.
Also, if you talk to Elfilin over there, he'll find another present code for you.
Yep, thank you, Meta Knight, I believe is the code.
Mm-hmm. In all caps, no spaces.
Also, will say as an aside, I know I brought this up before, but just seeing Meta Knight perched up there like that, and, King Dedede launched it, I still feel it was a missed opportunity this game didn't get any post-launch DLC where you get, like, a sort of, like a guest star hero mode where you get to play as either of the two of them.
yeah,
To play the game faster and with Midnight would be great.
yeah.
It would.
And you know what? To keep up with the naming conventions of, like, Meta Nightmare Returns, have this one be called Meta Nightmare Forever.
Meta Nightmare Forever. I mean, honestly, something they could do as sort of like a parallel to our adventure with Kirby and Waddle Dee here, like have that whole thing be like a whole co-op adventure between King Dedede and Meta Knight, and actually you get to choose between the two.
Let's see, there's Meta Nightmare, Meta Knight Forever, Meta Knight and Robin, Meta Knight Dreamland Asylum, Meta Knight Dreamland City, Meta Knight Dreamland Origins,
Meta Nightmare 2, Return of Jafar,
Count Meta Knight Serial.
Meta Nightmare, the TV series, the musical.
You're mocking me, aren't you?
Meta Nightmare, the flamethrower.
Meta Knight, the Brave and the Bold.
I'm sorry, we're just going
Hey.
through all these, and I'm just imagining. And you know what? I'll throw in King Dedede as like a Toy Story reference. It's like,
You're mocking me, aren't you?
Oh, no, 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 no. They're not looking at Vader!
Where?
I love that. I know I could sort of parse what you're saying. Also, by the way, King DD Hammer is great.
Yes, it is.
It's great, but it's not my favorite.
I know I could parse what you were saying, but angry, fast-talking DDD just sounds like the Samurai Jack sheriff.
How many do that? That fucking weirdo.
I love him.
So, I forget what we were doing here. Oh, that's right. I think we were going to try and check and see if the butterflies would let us visit them now. And oh, that's right. Now that we got DDD Hammer, now they're going to actually give us a couple more of these portals.
Alas, the secrets of the butterflies will not be unveiled to us for a little while longer.
Yeah.
And even with this, I still miss the goddamn portal down in the streets.
the
It's...
mass treasure.
I don't blame you. Also, in case you're wondering, yes, you could always just go right up to the big old lab on the top of the volcano if you ever wanted to replay the end game again.
Yep, they let you do it, assuming you really want to remember those Eldritch memories.
Gotta say, without the attack boost, trying to get the target time for this one is kind of a pain.
Yeah.
You got this.
I mean, not to say that Mass Hammer is weak or anything, but it doesn't do enough. Excuse me. It doesn't do enough damage towards specific enemies we see in like a second or two.
I will
I guess
say,
between
like,
this
there's-
and... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just about to say that there is one attack that I won't blame James for not knowing about because it's very specific to hit. When you jump in the air, if you hit the hammer at the right time as you're landing, you can actually make shockwaves.
Yeah, and you could do it 3 times in a row. It's the hammer bounce, but with tornadoes of fire.
I guess between this and the previous upgrade, where we just essentially took Bonkers' fur and stone hammer.
Oh, the wild
which-
hammer?
Yeah, the wild hammer. I mean, between the two, which do you think is more effective?
This one, actually. Only because you have much higher, DPS, or damage per second. Okay, so these snake bastards are why I kept messing for target time.
They suck.
Yeah, they have a deceptively wide range.
They have deceptively wide range, they stall you for a bit because you have to escape, and they take, I guess 2 hammer swings as opposed to 1? Basically, they take a lot more punishment than you'd think they do.
Yeah, it's one of those cases where either the Space Ranger or the Buzz Cutter would be a lot more handy for those guys.
Also, these monkeys with hammers keep bouncing around! Stay still!
Again, they're happy to slur their hammers at us.
Yeah, maybe a bit too happy.
To slur their hammers.
But yeah, no, I ultimately ended up doing this as the very last thing in our session because I figured by this point I probably could have gotten every secret left in this world that I could still get.
Plus,
Again,
it is right there, so...
It is right there. I wanted to get out of the way because I figured we would have already finished off every single other treasure road before we did the post game, not realizing until later on that we still missed a couple.
Yeah.
Again, some of them can get stupidly obtuse. Namely, the one in the submerged tower back in World 2. And again, I guess it's not as obtuse, but the somewhat covered streets near the Rocky Mountain just before the garden where you find the very last one.
The Rocky Mountains.
Sounds about right. Oh
I mean,
my
well,
gosh.
what else could I call them?
But yeah,
But-
look at that fucking target time.
Yeah, it's strict.
I don't like it.
But
But I got it anyways, because I thought you'd actually unlock something by getting all of them.
I know, it's just bragging rights. But with that said, I think it's now time, James, to finally bid adieu to post-commentary, fingers crossed, in this playthrough.
Here's hoping. Here's hoping.
You
But
better
wait, we
not
have
be a
few more
jerk to me
seconds,
this time,
because
Google.
You guys didn't want to use the gotcha machine and decided to go over here.
Yeah, because we're tired, Icky.
We were recording for damn near 2 hours. We needed a nap.
Oh yeah.
And thus, as Kirby sleeps alone, we'll see you all.
What are you talking about? He's still got Elfilin.
I was hoping an arm would pop out of the bed and slap Kirby back onto the floor.
I live here now, said
This
Bandana
is-
Dude.
I'm trying to sleep.
But yes. Stay.
That all said, next time, another familiar face might be joining Kirby for that nap session, and then we'll get straight to the post game.
Finally, it's time to almost finish this game. For
It's
the third time.
time to kick some ass.
So let's go. Anywho, bye everybody.
Till next time.
Phenomenal!